Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, Imperial Dane. And today I have for you a 1 versus 1, yes indeed, no more 2 versus 2 is elite for a short while on Semois. Yes indeed, we shall be returning to the darkness of Semois in the night. The Reich attacks. And of course, Semois rather sort of divided into those 3 compartments I keep talking about. I mean, you sort of have this one here, the 2 home compartments. You then sort of have the center, more of a fighting compartment, less in fuel resources, but plenty of munitions, and of course all 3 victory points. Also note that the compartments are all sort of connected from both home compartments by 3 points. And usually you'll see someone to attempt to pin either here or there, and these 2 strategic points alongside with these 2 fuel points are pretty much very nice points for harassment, and you pretty much should always expect it, in particular of the Wehrmacht, since that's a pretty vital point for you, since a lot of your movements, your veterancy in fact, and of course getting any sort of new technology or at least better troops or any sort of that requires fuel. So of course for you, fuel is pretty much paramount, in which case a bit of barbed wire, but of course we'll have a bit of a look at that actually. So who shall be fighting on here in the northern corner? We are seeing Art Vanley. Art Vanley, a level 11 American commander, yes indeed, not the highest, but he certainly proved himself quite capable. And who shall be fighting him? Well, it shall be Imperial Dane, and yes, I know I am level 14, he's only 11, but still he did quite well. Plus, well, it's also a matter of time. I'm a bit pressed for time today, so basically went for this one. I had another one, but that's close to an hour, and well, again, time, my friends, is not quite on my side today. But still, it's going to be a pretty interesting game. So in fact, let's get right down to it. Oh right, I forgot to present the master forces. In the northern corner, Art Vanley as the 1st Infantry Division. Opposing them shall be the 352nd Grenadier Division. Yes indeed, I rather like them due to the fact that I actually read about them in a book called Normandy Front by, what was the name of the chap? Apparently chaps Vince Milano and Bruce Connor. It's actually a pretty nice book. It actually gives you a good idea of the forces fighting in Germany, which were in SS Panzer divisions, and some other bits right there, sort of level of preparation and equipment. So quite interesting stuff. 352nd was a division sort of put together in 1943 under less great methods, since they were rather lacking in equipment. Barracks is up to the usual barracks start, no great amount of engineers, dual engineer start, dual pioneer start, heading to either side. So are the American engineers, no rushing towards the center as of yet, but Volksgrenadier is on the way. And the 352nd, among other things, had to make do with uniforms from the Afrika Corps, by then time defunct Afrika Corps. So they had a bit of a mix of uniforms, plus they were rather forced to barter for other supplies from the local peasants, since they couldn't get from the fatherland itself. And there we go, Volksgrenadier again, due to the skin we actually get a sort of mixed up uniform business right there, which rather fits with the Volksgrenadiers, but also the sort of troops of the 352nd, or any sort of low quality troop. Rather nice right there. Heading outwards, riflemen also ready, slightly more uniform but also skin. And again, for skins I'll try and work out some better links this time around. Otherwise I might actually just give you the sort of farm where it's all sort of saved, and then sort of let you figure it out. Of course you need in all cases to sort of save the file to sort of keep a safe copy, so when in case a patch arrives you can just replace it again. And here's just a quick note there. But laying down some barbed wire here to sort of defend it. Of course it won't help against enemy engineers, but against riflemen who might try to harass, jolly good sure right there. And if there are engineers, you might still be able to rush in some infantry. Volksgrenadier heading towards the center, riflemen heading southwards, apparently ignoring the center of Semois, while Volksgrenadiers are not doing so. A bit of a delayed, hey, good luck, have fun, same to you. Bit of a nice chat right there. Further Volksgrenadiers, ow. I have no idea why I keep doing that, all of those sort of things. Sorry about that. Bit of an odd thing. Volksgrenadiers arriving. Moving up to team number 2. Further riflemen arriving. So far no surprises. Of course, question is, what will the American go for? BARs and lots of riflemen, or lots of riflemen M8s, sort of like that. Further Volksgrenadier heading towards the center. A bit of barbed wire there to sort of deny the enemy cover. Volksgrenadier laying it up. Riflemen moving in. Volksgrenadier stopping about, laying that barbed wire, opening up. Riflemen apparently deciding they don't want to rush right into that. Getting gunned down, one down immediately. Further Volksgrenadiers arriving. And pioneers in the south getting engaged by riflemen, retreating, and looks like some engineers heading northwards to do a bit of a nasty work there. Riflemen sneaking out from the south. Some folks kind of sending northwards to stop the engineers there, while it looks like the riflemen are having something in mind. Whatever could it be, but rather aggressive handling of them. MG42 on the way. Pioneers taking territory, but still being engaged by pioneers. Or engineers, of course, at this stage, of course, I have sort of noticed it. I believe. Can't remember what actually sort of kept me in on it, but it was something. But folks going down rhyming at the same time he moves in, sneaks through all of my lines and goes straight for this strategic point, cutting it off. Very sneaky there, laying down barbed wire continually because of what I want to strengthen this position. Further riflemen arriving. Folks is moving away from the north after the engineers have been cleared out. MG42 on the field, pioneers also arriving. Volkswagen is rather realizing this is not a happy situation. At the same time, want to clear out this area and of course focus all fire rather than spread out my troops further, which at this stage could actually be pretty bad, since this rifleman will one-on-one in most cases be strongest. There we go, a bit of shots, rifleman running away, and thus I can focus on other bits, like for example this rifleman team, which is now without support. Riflemen and engineers right here in the south, moving centerwards, it looks like. Riflemen under fire, and of course finding themselves without cover because again, oh yeah, barbed wire. Volkswagen is taking up the house, others taking up position right there, catching the riflemen in a rather nasty spot there. And what is this? Grenades right off the bat, a bit of a rarity, but certainly not a bad thing. 2 Volkswagen down, that was pretty unpleasant for me, but riflemen are forced away. But at the same time, this does cause me some issues, since I'd rather have to deal with all of these things all of a sudden, including grenades, which of course means that if I'm sort of unawares for even a second, I might suddenly be short of a unit, a team, or just a lot of troops. Volkswagen is moving southwards as I'm again spotting something's going down here, in this case engineers. Riflemen once more going for the strategic cutoff point. Very keen on cutting it off. In fact, MG42 setting up in this building, rather fond of it. And once more spotting, yes indeed, sneaky little devils. Riflemen heading northwards as well to sort of head off here against these pioneers, and others heading towards the center, finishing the barbed wire there. Volkswagen is engaging these riflemen while others are engaging down here. Engineers taking quite a few losses, but they will be able to take the point. Quite unfortunate. MG42 moving in to set up there. Catch these riflemen out in the open. While again pressing from all sides. This Art Vanley is clearly a bastard. Pioneers advancing in, opening up close to these riflemen while the MG42 keeps them down. Volkswagen is holding the center, riflemen moving in. And this is rather where things get tricky, as we have riflemen on all sides, and again one rifleman team can present quite a lot of firepower. There we go, one grenade and I'm forced to retreat, rather collapsing my lines, but at the same time these riflemen are taking quite a beating. Pioneers and MG42 presenting quite a threat. Volkswagen is down there in the south are finished. Further Volkswagen is getting reinforced at the same time, squaring in his face, and the Creek barracks now on the way. But MG42 getting pressured, has to pull back, but at the same time I don't want to conduct a full retreat, as that might give the riflemen a bit too much advantage. I don't want to get too far forced away, since I'm, well, currently holding a rather minute amount of territory, for some of you might have keenly noticed. But Volkswagen is moving in, ready to counterattack. Again, can't help but admire these new skins, rather like them. Very nice work by Half-Track. Hope to see some more from him. And riflemen getting gunned down. Volkswagen is advancing. Riflemen retreating. Others trying to take some points there. Creek barracks almost up. And this course, in this case, I can figure that I might have advantage slightly in just getting some infantry at this stage. And of course, why? Well, in this case, he's gone for grenades. That is a sum of a few costs. So that's going to, even if it goes for M8, that is going to delay him slightly. So that is slightly to my advantage. And I can probably go for something else, but in this case, I'll just figure, what the hell, let's just get a Pack 38 first off, just in case. And he is certainly going for it. He's got the supply yard up, so he could certainly be going for it. Of course, question is, will I be right or will I not be? Pioneers heading southwards again, trying to extend the amount of territory I have. I mean, as the Wehrmacht, you have to be quite aggressive on the counterattack list. You sort of slowly get further and further pushed back, and you really need to sort of get forwards and attack. At the same time, though, the American commander is rather lacking in any sort of defenses. I mean, you aren't seeing any mines. Of course, you aren't really seeing anyone from mine. Well, one there, but that got blown up. At the same time, equipping some of my Volkswagen with MP40s, machine pistol 40. Certainly one of the primary submachine guns of the Wehrmacht. That was also the MP41, but I'm not entirely sure to what great lengths that was. Almost the same, except it had a slightly longer handle. Riflemen and engineers getting ready from the south, and that of course will force me to sort of prepare something there. and going straight for the victory point up there. Very good harassment from Art Vandley, actually quite nice, keeping on the attacks from all sides, but if he could lay down some mines, that would be absolutely fantastic, and certainly increase his power even further. Engineers sitting up there with a flamethrower, rifleman getting the Volksgunners up there. Volksgunners pulling back towards the cover behind all the barbed wire. Again, barbed wire can be used to really make it much harder for your opponent to fight solid ground. MG42 sitting up, rifleman advancing on all sides, and this could mean a grenade. Rifleman there getting suppressed, grenade lobbed at the MG42, will it survive? And a grenade at the Volksgunners. Oh dear, heavy losses. Very heavy losses, 6 men down with 2 grenades, but Grenadiers are on the field. Volksgunners is taking some losses in the north, and we are seeing inspired assault. My goodness, what does this mean? It means increased rate of fire, in fact twice the rate of fire, and even increased damage as they are easier to hit, but if you can do it properly. Well, as you might have noticed there, the riflemen are getting absolutely torn to shreds, and even these riflemen, who were in fact rather at full health in the beginning, or at least close to, were even taken quite down by 3 Volksgunners. We're able to take down 6 riflemen. Again, do not underestimate the power of inspired assault. I mean, I haven't used it much, but again, it's a bit hard to sort of get about, but I'm quite confident that properly used is in fact a pretty powerful ability, despite it sort of, yes, it makes your troops easier to hit, but at the same time, they can get off a lot more shots and a lot more damage. That's quite potent and should not be underestimated. And now a half-track on the way, probably being landed up as on Panzer Division, probably the second. Grenadiers is slightly more veteran troops. Half-track ready, Pioneers jumping in. Always good to use foot Pioneers to man the guns, since they can also act as repairmen afterwards. Grenadiers moving up here to sort of open up on these riflemen who are trying to take my munitions. Thought I retreated that squad. Oh dear, yes, that can happen, I'm afraid. Yes, indeed, sometimes you get those situations, and there we go. M8 ready, Greyhound. No T-17 swim, at the same time triage center, but at the same time not the most happy situation. Remy just lost a team, and oh dear, he seems to be forgetting his troops and retreating them. Perhaps that's not good at all. Still, he's certainly managed quite a bit already, but now things might be going a bit against him, I fear. M8 on the move though. MG42 sending up once more. Half-track heading towards the center, ready to do a bit of counter-attacking, at least lightly. And he's quite confident that he's not going to win that way. Switch and respond, probably not unless I do very terribly. And rifleman getting suppressed, and Volksgunners jump out, ready to add a bit more firepower, and that's rather one of the reasons, one of the ways I at least like to use the half-track. That's basically as sort of a mobile counter-attack force, or even attack force. Basically, you can use that to have your troops defend in a much larger area. In fact, that's certainly not a bad idea. Pack 38 on the move, have to react. Half-track in a slightly bad situation. Panzerfaust being used on the M8, but not doing much as of yet. Half-track quite damaged. Will the M8 move in for the kill and run straight into the Pack 38? No, the M8 looks like to be moving away. Rifleman moving towards the north here, with some engineers in tow. It looks like these engineers have in fact been forgotten. That's a bit odd. He could have used that. Seems to be his not quite confident in the handling of all of his troops, which is certainly something that will take a bit of time. Still quite good tactics and strategy otherwise. I mean, quite bold, quite aggressive. Good usage of grenades, and there we go, repairing the M8 Greyhound with a 50 caliber machine gun now. Very nasty piece of work there. And it's time to go have a look at Vandley, who has prepared artillery. Half-track getting repaired by the Pionieren of the 356th. And riflemen advancing on these Volksgunners up in the north. MP40s blazing, charging at the riflemen. In this case, of course, again, MP40s are rather best up range. And there we go, shooting the riflemen down. And a grenade dropped at the Volksgunners, killing, oh dear, quite a few right outright. Others, oh dear, who shall win? Who shall win? Apparently the Volksgunners manage it quite nicely, partly due to seal, which actually makes them a bit tougher as they lose men. Although again, you shouldn't count on it for everything, mind you. Riflemen getting ready. Grenadiers moving into, no, Volksgunners moving into support. Actually, the northern position provides some cover and security for the others while they take the point. Might as well use them for that. And a Sturm Armory going up. At the same time, mortar setting up as well, rather like creating a slight support position right here in the center. Actually, no infantry to really hold it, which is a bit disadvantageous. Half-track advancing, mortar opening up on these engineers. Looks like the riflemen are moving southward to do a bit of harassment there. Volksgrenadiers sneaking about. And what is going on for friend Art Vanley? Any supply yard upgrades? Not as of yet. That could be nice though. And Volksgrenadiers forced away, having been caught in a slightly disadvantaged position by the riflemen, but half-track to the rescue. Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251 or Mittlere Schützenpanzerwagen advancing. Opening up. And the Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers jump out. Or did I have Grenadiers in it? Oh wait, I did. Yes indeed. Keeping them hiding inside. Trying to sort of ambush the M8. Because if it sort of figured, well, there's a pantry there, it might have not moved as close as it otherwise did. So there we go, get a few good shots off on it, forcing it away with minimal losses. At the same time, looks like he's going for a weapon support center and some BARs, but not really much to replace the rifleman or the medic station. Actually, that would have been nice for him. As usual, I'm quite a fan of those buildings. But the northern area is so far slightly in the hands of the Wehrmacht, and looks like another forces moving towards south. More Volksgrenadiers marching forwards, MP40s, all the good stuff. Mortar holding in the center, 2 kills, MG42 also, and BARs though getting ready. Will probably make things a lot harder, and getting a sniper, nothing unusual there, although I do hate snipers, and I'm pretty sure most of my regular viewers are quite aware of that. Riflemen advancing, half-track holding out. Opening up once more, riflemen sort of open territory and once more popping out with the infantry. And riflemen advancing. BAR firing away. Oh, it's the M8 knocking out one Grenadier. That's certainly going to make things a bit more difficult. And of course, if a sniper arrives, it's certainly not going to get easier. Volksgrenadier gets killed. Half-track advancing, sort of trying to reinforce the troops at the front. Volksgrenadiers advancing, perhaps hoping to get Alpha Panzerfaust on the M8 and force it away. Or at least hit the engineers, but rather realize that's not good. And riflemen charge through the center, which I have rather tragically left much too undefended. Oh dear, and that was a very bad mistake by me. Trouble is, he's not the only thing that saves me. Only sending one team, and a mortar team is cut down. Quite foolish on my behalf, but a Stug 4 is on the way, and infantry moving in from the south, catching the rifleman right in a pincer there.
Front shifted.
Grenade getting dropped on the Volksgrenadiers. Oh dear, that's 3 down, not right, and another gets killed by the rifleman with the BAR. Stug 4 has a bit of trouble running straight into the pack. 38, not quite useful, and Volksgrenadiers forced away as well. And in north, Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers with the support of the half-track are holding out, but the snipers now advancing as well, getting kills, making things a lot harder to hold. Riflemen straight into a mine, while the Stug 4 Sturmgeschütz Sphere, although I don't believe the 352nd actually had those. They had the Stug 4, I believe, in their Panzerjägerabteilung, which was actually supposed to have Marder Fries, but for some reason they couldn't get that, so instead they got some Stugs of a Stugabteilung, or at least what remained of one. So that did quite well and actually provided them with some armor support. Half-track retreating, Stug moving in. Apparently our friend here is unawares, and the Stug moves in for the kill. But it's time for the mid-game analysis. What is the current situation? Well, currently Mr. Art Vanley is still holding most of the map. Trouble is, though, he's been suffering a bit too heavily in the infantry section, in particular losing 2 entire infantry teams in a rather unfortunate manner. Although he's getting an anti-tank gun, he does have a Trier center, but he could do with a supply yard upgrade. And perhaps a medic station. And of course, mines. I mean, he's floating quite a bit of munitions, but we aren't really seeing much to actually defend all of this. He's holding in particular right here in these areas, these sort of fringe areas of what he can actually hold. And which would probably just be better to sort of mine and then sort of retreat, leaving it open to me to just run into those mines, frankly. He could even use the M8 for that. At the same time, though, I'm not doing too well either. I mean, I'm doing better than him, probably, because I haven't suffered quite as heavily, though at the same time, I don't quite have the same territorial advantage. And of course, that sniper's probably going to end up vexing me, since I don't handle snipers very well. Pack 38 on the move, and I did lose that mortar. That wasn't quite a happy situation. Of course, I'll probably be able to force him away now with the arrival of this Stug 4. Of course, question is when I would end, and will I be using more Inspired Assault, which rather is an ability for some reason I quite fancy, but I find it a bit hard to actually apply. But when you can, it can actually do a bit of there. Oh dear, M8 mine going down. How shall this end up? I have to be careful. And looks like the M8 will be taking another route, and this Duke hits it, taking a damaged engine, quite unfortunate. And the M8 makes a run for the what? Pioneers dropping out of the half-track and getting away with the repairs. Grenadiers nearby with a pan stroke. Oh dear, the Pioneers were cut down. Oh dear, but the M8 though is quite damaged. And is out of control. And there we go, lost the M8 when he probably should have been trying to retreat it through here. But he did get some Pioneers, I suppose, although I wouldn't quite say that's worth an M8. And then the Engineers advance, but they won't have much luck, instead retreating my rather battered armored forces, and that seems to be a bit of a waste of an artillery barrage. Actually, I haven't noticed that. I think in the previous game, I'm not entirely sure that went quite as well as he hoped to. At the same time, a Puma has arrived from the Panzerlehr to provide some M8 anti-M8 support and just some heavier firepower. But apparently there's no M8 anymore. The Stu cleared that out. Fresh infantry arriving, or slightly fresher. Kampfkraft sensor is up. And the Puma opens up, not scoring any kills, but the Stu does. Half-track dropping out all of its infantry, at least what it can. MG42 catching the rifleman right there. Sticky bombs on this Puma. Oh dear, didn't quite move it away. Damaged engine and immobilized. Rifleman advancing. Sticky bomb on what? On the half-track. Oh dear. Heavy vehicle losses for me. And the half-track is lost. Grenadiers dropping out. Anti-tank are moving forwards with some engineer support and a sniper. And of course I'm not quite aware, and this Puma is currently immobilized and not much of help. One kill so far. And there we go, Puma lost. That's rather some unfortunate armor losses for me, and currently certainly all my own bloody fault. I probably shouldn't have been parking that Puma right in the middle of the road. Engineers getting, well, blown to bits actually. Sniper opens up, but the sniper though rather leaves himself exposed. Grenadiers advance, sniper retreats, anti-tank gun gets the devil out of there. At the same time, Rangers have arrived with bazookas in tow. And it probably would have been better for him to actually have used the artillery by this assault and probably gotten down on the MG42 rather than here. I mean, you have to be careful about trying to use your artillery a bit too early. And they certainly, again, not against moving units. I mean, for example, against this position, would probably have done a lot more. Banker going up to provide a bit of medical support, I suspect. Volkswagen is hanging about here. And otherwise, trying to repair what I have in the center. A Nebelwerfer arriving. 150mm. Nebelwerfer meaning fog or smoke thrower, was basically a sort of attempt to sort of disguise any sort of ideas which could have been perhaps a delivery of chemical weaponry, but then sort of just end up being a rocket area. I suppose rocket delivery system. So that the early version of the Nebelwerfer was actually a pretty large mortar. And small engagement right here. Volkswagen is forced away by the rifleman with BAR's Veterancy 1. Rangers getting ready. All the riflemen are quite fully healed and quite armed. Quite a bit of munitions as well for grenades, perhaps. Also he didn't actually use grenades here, but then again, perhaps the barbed wire here again. Using barbed wire to sort of make it harder for your opponent to actually get close and drop grenades. Rather one thing actually, use them 4+ deny them cover there. And Rifleman getting hit by the Nebelwerfer. The house as well taking quite a few hits. And is now currently quite on fire. But let's return to the 352nd. Forced retreat. Or propaganda war. Pioneers advancing to perhaps salvage the Puma. But no such luck. Rifleman engineers moving in from the north. Veterancy 1 for the Stug. Veterancy 1 for support units to increase the accuracy of the LMG. And looks like what shall they be doing against the Stug? And now, yes indeed, propaganda war. Extolling that things are not like looking quite good for them. Grenadiers and Volkswagen advancing on the rifleman, on the anti-tank gun, forced retreat. MP40 Volkswagen could be advancing. Grenades getting locked at the Volkswagen, killing a few, and riflemen forced retreat in the face of all of this. Volkswagen continue to hunt down the anti-tank gun and run straight into a mine, losing one and getting pinned down. Not quite what I had hoped for, but laying mines down there, and certainly not a bad idea to lay down mines on either side, although again he probably could have used a lot more mines a lot earlier. That would at least be my opinion. Looks like he's making another move through here with his rifleman. Quite sneaky, and in fact he probably could get the Nebelwerfer. Oh dear, that looks like to be what he's actually going to do. But getting stopped right there by the Grenadiers, and Volksgrenadiers have of course noticed that. Yes, he did take that punch, of course I eventually had to do something about it. And Volksgrenadiers arriving from the north here, a bit of a mismatched force from here, though in the north. And taking some losses since they had probably been better off getting reinforced, but the riflemen take quite a few. Getting smashed to bits by the Panzerschreck. Pioneers laying down lots of barbed wire, again lots of barbed wire. One would almost think I'd get a discount on barbed wire, which I probably could be if it wasn't for the fact that barbed wire costs absolutely bollocks. But still, barbed wire can be very handy if you use it well. And Riflemen and Rangers once more moving in, hoping this time not to get frightened away by glorious propaganda of the Wehrmacht. Grenadiers getting reinforced. Volksgrenadiers not quite in need of reinforcement. And looks like they're heading for the northern victory point. Oh dear, oh dear. Stuke hiding behind this building. Few engineers moving about here. Whatever are they up to?
We're losing a sector.
And there we go, grabbing points there. And looks like a tank depot is going up for tank Mark Vandley, meaning in fact he has every building on the field. Yet he still hasn't upgraded the supply yard. I can't help but feel that's a bit unfortunate. And Sturmgeschütz with Pioneers moving in to counterattack in the north. Rangers retreating, Nebelwerfer howling. And a full retreat for the Allies. One gets killed by the Stuke on the retreat.
Veterancy gained.
And interestingly enough, he's set up another engineer with flamethrower in there. I'm not entirely sure what he does because he seems to be forgetting them. Anti-tank on advancing, rifleman
Attention. The enemy advances.
going for the fuel point once more. Veterancy 2 for the Sturmgeschütz, giving them a machine gunner. Very nice upgrade right there. The assault gun machine gun actually being quite useful. A bit more infantry are now going in against the riflemen. One down. Stuke misses, and what is this? A Sherman has arrived on the field. The anti-tank gun though isn't quite close enough for support. Taking on the Stuke from the front though is not quite what you want to do. Actually you want to flank it. Not hit it from the front, forcing away the Volksgrenadiers. Anti-tank gun not quite close enough to deal with the Stuke. And the Stuke turns around, oh dear, with the Sherman. Continue the hunt, no. And Volksgrenadiers were killed, oh dear. Apparently forgotten right here, they were sort of slaughtered in a rather unfriendly manner. Not quite a happy day right there. Sherman sort of milling about. Infantry once more on the move again. Will there be going anything on here in the tank depot? Apparently not. Stuke getting repaired once more. Grenadiers hanging about, ready with a Panzerschreck, and they hit the ground instead. Oh dear. And here in the west or east, some Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers are holding off these riflemen. Grenade getting lopped, and Grenadiers perhaps moving in to counter-lop. In the meanwhile, the Sherman advances now with full support, although the anti-tank gun could do with it being a bit more frontal. Since that, with animal-piercing rounds, can actually do quite well against a Stuke. But seemingly he's not quite focused on that. Wait, there we go. German on the move. Rifleman ready nearby. And Nebelwerfer firing as well. Whatever shall the Sherman do? Rangers moving in support, heading northwards. Nebelwerfer firing at the suspected enemy position, and there we go, suppressing and killing. And of course, Rangers take quite a bit more damage from fire, since that they are having elite armor which protects them from small arm fire but makes them more vulnerable to fire. And there we go, burned alive because apparently he didn't notice. Not entirely sure there, but you have to be careful about that again. So there we go, one Ranger team burned alive. Sniper advancing actually, and forced to retreat. Leaving behind the Sherman without any support at all, which is quite unfortunate for it. And there we go, how did that kill the entire Ranger squad? And I just explained it to you, but of course I'll be explaining it to him in game. Always pistol friendly and all that. Oh, so very quiet. American forces getting ready once more, despite the loss of that entire Ranger team to the fire. And there we go, advancing as well. Stug with support from the Infantry. More Grenadiers now though, and some MP40 equipped Volksgrenadiers for close quarter defense. Doing something quite bad there, floating a bit too much manpower, and certainly shouldn't be doing that. That's certainly my own fault. Although at the same time I'm rather feeling confident at this stage, but that doesn't excuse such behavior. And for some reason though, I have no idea why I actually went for the officer. I figured, well, why not? It's not like I can actually lose this game, so I might as well try and see if I can't get something useful out of him, because sometimes I just feel like experimenting with the units, just for the hell of it, to sort of try new things out, see if it actually succeeds in doing anything useful. And there we go. I absolutely love the voice set of the lieutenant. I am a lieutenant. You will salute when you see me, or something like that. Even a nice skin there, but he just doesn't really compare at all. He doesn't quite have the combat efficiency though, which is rather a problem. At least in my opinion. He doesn't quite do much. But hitting outwards, hoping to do something, I suppose. Perhaps drop some artillery, but that actually requires the battle phase, which makes him less useful in assault phase. And he is forced away. Officer heading southwards, no support for him though. Stug hanging about, and it looks like the Americans are making an assault in the north, while others are sort of harassing in the south. Oh dear, how shall this go? Sherman on the move, could be flanking on the Stug, oh dear. And the officer opens up, Rangers firing. Thompson's in hand. Forced retreat. I have no idea why he goes about that. It is inappropriate touching. It seems to be a bit too eager to go for those funny lines when you click too much. But one thing though, he is good at actually taking territory. He's about as fast as a Grenadier, which actually means him pretty fast. Riflemen though taking quite a few losses, getting flanked by the Volksgrenadiers, because again cover is directional, and in this case getting shot to bits since the wall doesn't protect against that, and getting shot down. Oh dear, will they make it out alive? Apparently. Stug 4 getting... Why isn't he moving in that Sherman to do something? I mean, he could have flanked a lot earlier. Anti-tank on ready. Sherman advancing, and for some reason does not flank. Anti-tank gun opens up. Stug down to half health. Another Stug moves in. Hooray for the Stugs. Sturmgeschütz everywhere. Sticky bomb on one. Sherman though exposes the rear, and the other one squishes the crew of the anti-tank gun beneath its mighty treads. Rifleman advancing in. Sherman quite damaged. Anti-tank gun recruit. Another sticky bomb on the other Stug. Anti-tank gun fires off on the first one. Needs to retreat. Oh dear, Stug down. Stug down. Only one left. Will it survive? Will the Sherman not survive for that matter? Apparently it looks like the Stug might make it out there, clearing out the crew. Main gun destroyed though. And the Sherman moves in for the kill, hoping to get it. Although it is quite wounded, and one Panzerfaust, and that Stug will be lost. Anti-tank gun cleared out, and the courageous Volksgrenadiers immediately man it. And open up on the Sherman. Stug out of control. Oh dear. And the Sherman out of control, crushing one Volksgrenadier beneath its treads and blowing up. And looks like we have a GG, well played. And quite aggressive indeed, very nice there. And there we go, more mines. I mean, if anyone asks me for tips, I might as well give them to them. More mines. Of course, a part of me always never wants to give it to my opponents because I don't want to get up getting beating for some reason. All very quiet. And yeah, he sort of realizes that he was floating much too much munitions. And yes, indeed, very important. Don't attack Stugs head on. Very bad. incredibly bad. I mean, he probably could have knocked them out a lot easier if he hadn't gone for them front on. And again, from the front, yes, they are tough, but from other sides, not quite as tough, and in fact, they can't do much. And there we go. Well, thanks for the match. Very nice. Always pays to be friendly and polite, and there we go. Game over. So, what can we learn from this? I mean, we saw some very good aggression from Mr. Art Vandley in the beginning, quite well executed. Trouble was, though, no mines to actually protect what he had, and certainly not to make it harder for me to take it back. That certainly was a bit of a problem there. He had some unfortunate tendencies of forgetting units, or thought he had retreating them. That's, of course, quite unfortunate. Can happen for everyone, and of course, even happens to me. That's certainly also something you should try to work on. Although sometimes you try to order them retreat, and for some reason it doesn't happen. And that is just shit happens. So there you go. On the bits, so again, do not attack a Sturmgeschütz from the front. I mean, they're the toughest there. In fact, that's the only point they can attack from. So flank them if possible. Always flank them. Very important. Always flank them. Also, we saw some good usage of early grenade usage. That's certainly something I'd like you to note and perhaps try to incorporate for some of you. They can do quite a bit of damage if properly used. Other things that are quite nice to note perhaps is, of course, the uses of barbed wire here, and of course here can make it a lot harder for your opponent to find a good solid grip on the field, and of course take any territory, and of course take cover. Very important. Very important. Otherwise, I mean, he probably could have done with the supply yard upgrade earlier. I couldn't tell him that because I didn't know. I mean, it's a bit hard for me to see what's going on there, you know. Otherwise, I mean, of course, a medic station probably would have helped him as well. And of course, you know, Rangers and fire don't mix well. Don't mix well at all. And of course, he probably should have been a bit more aggressive with that anti-tank gun earlier here, but sadly not. And another problem was, in fact, he was a bit too keen on just continually ramming his head into a wall here instead of perhaps trying, you know, to attack from here. He was much too passive on that front. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe or tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.